Hi there, and welcome to Reflections with Rhonda Jones and co-host Monica Livingston. She's the one that's going to have the close-up today. She wanted to take in a lot of this she wants people to see how passionate she is about some of these subjects. I just want to let you know. And Ruthie is back with us. Big hoo-yah, yay. As you well know, if you are a fan, if you are the fan of the show, you know
One
that
fan.
that's okay. One is better.
One is better than none.
One's better than what T-Bog has, right? So
Sorry, that was.
we're doing one better than
One is-
T-Bog. We have a fan, but she's been gone to the northwest area of our fine country. Ruthie, tell us a little bit about your trip, and then of course Kimberly is here. We don't want to leave our fair damsel out. All right, Ruthie, tell us all about it.
Well, the plane trip there was great, no problems, and I got to see the mountains and have cool nights to sleep.
Jealous.
Hot days, but cool nights to sleep. Spent a lot of time visiting with both of my daughters. I learned a lot more about them than I knew before, which was really great. And my one daughter told me I was her best friend, and that really made me feel good, so. But anyway, and the mountains, though, I love the mountains anyway, and so that was good. And I got to visit a lady I used to work with that we're real good friends, and she invited my boss to come, and her husband was there, and another girl I work with. Then Joanne called and said she wanted to go out to lunch again, so we did. And another lady I worked with came, and it was just really good to reacquaint myself with some of my coworkers, and stuff. So that was nice. But mostly it was spent with just the girls, visiting, talking, and I saw how much my daughter who had stroke had improved. She can only use one hand, but she can do anything she wants to do, let me tell you, except cut her own meat. She can't do that yet, but she can do anything that she wants to do, and she just takes it all in stride. She's driving. She's going Wednesday to get her driver's license. She has a learner's permit type thing, and she's going Wednesday to get her driver's license, so I'm really proud of her. So,
Well, she's come a long way, it sounds
Yes.
like. It is fabulous. Well, it's good to have you back.
good to be back.
Good to have you. And we are going to start off with a story, actually, that Monica sent us via email concerning a homeless man and his invention.
Yes, this is a story about a gentleman who actually had been homeless. I believe that the story was about him having went through a divorce, and he, allowed the wife and the kids and stuff to have the home. And then due to circumstances, job situation or whatever, he ended up homeless himself. Living in his car, and I think he had a business that he
Right.
ran, and so he was able to stay in like the warehouse part of it. But he encountered a lot of other homeless people, and it really opened his eyes to the plight that they have of dealing with the harsh winters. He's from Utah, so we all know, like in Idaho, they have cool nights and warm days, but that's in the summer months. And then when you get to the winter, you have some very harsh conditions sometimes. And while he was homeless, he went through all of this himself. And when he was able to improve his circumstances and was on his feet again, he was driving one day and saw a homeless person on the side of the road. And he ran home and he got out his tools and stuff and built a wooden structure for the person to be able to actually get inside and to get out of the elements. And he went back to find the person. By the time he got it built, he went to find the gentleman, he couldn't find them. And he didn't stop there. He realized that this had its limitations and its problems. And so he has since then constructed 5 shelter things that are like 8 feet wide, 8 feet long, or 4 feet wide, 8 feet long. It's made of wood and corrugated plastic, and it has vents and stuff. And he says it's roomy enough for a person to sleep in, maybe put a few things, have a kerosene heater, and with the vents, have it be able to be ventilated. It's on wheels to get around building permits and zoning
And has
laws and all that.
Porta potty type thing.
Has like a porta potty toilet. It's able to be hooked up to electricity, so if they can find a place where they can plug in or get permission from a homeowner. And he doesn't want to do this as a business. He said he absolutely does not want to necessarily make money off of these. He wants to, have it be where he can, allow homeless people to use them for a period of time. If they're able to, if they want to, own it themselves and pay for it so that they have something to call their own and start, them back on that road of, this is mine, and then, building themselves back up. That's what he wants. But he has had people approach him for actually buying it for like an emergency type shelter. But he's made 5 of these at an expense to himself of about $500 for each one that he's made. And we talked with our kids in Kids Place today about this, and we shared this with them, and they all thought it was pretty cool. They all looked at the pictures of it and thought it was a great thing. Of course, when we talk to them about doing stuff for other people, they get all excited, but of course then they're like, oh, we don't have the money, and we don't know how to work with wood, and they didn't say all this, but the thoughts that go through your head. So imagine a kid who thinks, well, I don't have but $30 in my piggy bank or whatever. But then we shared with them another story about a little boy and what he did. And Kimberly knows that story a little bit better than I do.
It was sorry. His name is Zach Bonner, and he went through Hurricane Charlie I believe it was in Tampa, where he was living at. His family had prepared, and so they were fine, but at some point he saw some children who were homeless. He asked his mom, why are these children out here on the street? And she said, well, either they were there before, their house was messed up, and now they're out on the street. He became so concerned, he was 7 years old, that he got his little red wagon and piled it up with water and took it to these children. And then he took his little red wagon and he went to his neighbors' houses and told them about the children. And then he went to different places, and read here, he ended up collecting 27 truckloads full of disaster supplies, including tarps, food, water, things for the kids.
Whoa.
7 years old.
Wow.
And from that point, which was amazing enough, he made his own nonprofit foundation to help homeless children, the Little Red Wagon Foundation. He's currently 15 years old, but in between that age 7 and 15, he walked from Tampa to Tallahassee to raise money. He walked from Tallahassee to Atlanta, and he's walked from Atlanta to Washington, D.C. each time, to raise awareness for homeless children. I think Lowe's donated backpacks, and other organizations filled it full of things that children could use, coloring books, crayons, and they call them Zach packs because his name is Zach.
Oh, that's cute. That's
And
so
he's
cute.
passed them out, and we told our children, just a simple idea. He saw, 7 years old, saw a need. He saw a child in need, and his parents, instead of saying, hey, you're just a little kid, you can't, they supported him. So not just encourage the kids, but encourage parents out there. If your kid has an idea, let him run with it, because look what was accomplished. It's amazing.
Yep.
Wow.
Our kids are amazing. So
Yes, that's true, and that's a fantastic thing. I think a lot of times in life we've let people tell us things about ourselves, or we cannot do this and we cannot do that, when we wouldn't even try then after they said that.
Right.
And so when his parents, gave him the encouragement, even though in their mind they could have thought, there's no way he's going to be able to do this or that.
yeah,
Just say
his
you
mom
can.
followed him in an RV. When he walked. I mean, he got up and walked, and had people join him. She followed him in an RV, and he went as far as he could. They stopped for the night. She'd pick him up. They'd find an RV park. The next morning, she'd take him right back to where he stopped,
Wow.
and he'd keep
Said he
going.
averaged about 17 to 22 miles a day, and he averaged about 3 miles an hour. And not only did he walk while he's on this journey from one place to another, but he would stop and meet kids at homeless shelters and throw little parties for them. He helped with the building of a Habitat for Humanity home we
Yeah,
were
one of the-
reading
one of
on
the walks was
there,
for me
and
for
just
that.
different things all along the way.
Good.
At
Nice.
7 years old.
I'll tell you what, that ought to really shame us grown folks and
Right.
embarrass us, don't you think, Ruthie?
Yes, because I don't think we really think about it unless you're put in a spot like that. And most of us are too lazy to go out and look for it, so.
Yeah, yeah, if it comes to my door, oh yes, I'll give and give and give and give, but a lot of times I don't. Sometimes it's good to go out looking for that, and that's the lazy part of me. If it comes, I'll bend over and do whatever, help you in your plight, but, that really gives me some pause and to think that I should be out, seeking opportunities. And sometimes they don't knock on your door.
They don't.
Right. And, we started talking with the kids about this because we want our kids to understand something that a lot of us didn't understand as children. And that was that, we're a group of people here at the New Covenant group that not are just believers, but we also have people that are joining us, whether it be in the studio or out of the studio, who are atheists. Or, who knows, we might have people that come here that are Hindu. We don't know who will come our way.
True.
Via Skype, via Facebook page, or having a show, or actually being in our studio. And I know that as a kid, I was taught to think that people of other religions were wrong and they were bad, and especially atheists. They were of the devil. And, basically have no morals, and I've had a big mind change about that, and a heart change too,
Yeah.
because I've learned that I don't want to be told what to think anymore. I'm going to think for myself, and I want my kids to learn to think for themselves. I want them to learn to look at people and see their differences as a positive thing. And to see where we can come together and work together. And one of the kids back there, I believe it was Christian, said, we asked him, we said, well, what's the purpose of meeting together in a group? And, all answers. Let's just look at all answers and examine them. And range from having fun, which, great, yeah, let's come together, have fun. That's a great thing. Learning more about each other. I made the story or the analogy to the kids that, hey, I've known Kimberly for like 13 years or so, but I've learned more about her doing reflections over this course of this last year than I knew almost the whole time, because we don't always sit down and share every detail of our lives, but as through talking and the more we get together, the more we learn about other people, and we learn about things that they've been involved in, or that they've done, or their strengths, their talents, and that's a good thing about coming together. And we just kept talking, and one of them was like learning how to work with people who are different than you, whether it be different beliefs or different likes and dislikes, and for kids to be able to realize that, like you said before, shame on us adults. Yeah. And so that's what got us talking about that. And then we talked about that, not just coming together to benefit us, having fun and getting to know one another, but to do something larger than meeting inside four walls or meeting inside a community, but reaching out to the world around us, to people around us, the world around us, and they really liked that idea. And so we kind of brainstormed some ideas for service projects.
So what was Christian? He came up with a service project?
Well, a lot of them did. Anything from providing shoes and clothes, whether it be new or used, to homeless, cooking meals, getting tents, provided. They had some really good ideas. But he mentioned the fact that we have to come together and learn to work and get along and kind of cooperate with each other, having different, differences. And I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah,
so.
That really is. That really is. That's the whole, I used to say this a lot, long time ago, and I would say, I like church except for the people. If I could just go and meet God there. I don't know why. That was sad that I said that, but this was a long time ago. And I don't know why I'm confessing this, I guess to say that learning how to work with people will change your life. And the mind change comes first, as Monica was saying, about we need to embrace differences instead of let them be at arm's length. We need to bring the differences toward us or go to where they are. We learn so much from other people and for being different, and we're different to other people, so they can learn
Right.
too from us. I want to bring something up. There was Crate and Barrel, I guess. Crate and Barrel 2 is kind of a younger audience. And if you don't know what Crate and Barrel is, it's a company that sells pretty expensive homewares and furniture and things like that. I like to look at it. I don't have any of it, but I like to look at it and fantasize.
Know what to look for in yard sales.
Yeah, when I go to a garage sale, that's from Crate and Barrel. But they're kind of a trendier store, CB2, came out with this wallet or little change purse that's in the shape of a coffee cup, but it was tagged like the beggar's wallet. And it was back in the days whenever you would see something on TV, like a person with that coffee cup asking for spare change. And people got up in arms about it because they thought it was making fun of the homeless. What do y'all think? Are we too sensitive about things nowadays, or what?
I say that a lot. I think that we are. I think that we have to almost walk on eggshells to do anything today, to even to speak. And,
Right.
you know, I think that we have to be really careful because, you know, it's so easy to offend somebody, or people want to read into things. And at the same time, you know, I wouldn't want to ever cause anybody harm with anything I said or did, or a product that I made or created. It's just so easy to do that because it does. It seems like people are just waiting and watching for something to be offended by.
Right.
You know.
I agree. Have you seen anything lately? Anybody of any recalls on anything? Or?
Sometimes I kind of feel like I'm a phony because I don't always say something. But if I know that it's going, or feel that it's going to offend someone that's in the group I'm talking to, I keep my mouth shut because I don't want to offend anyone. And then later I feel like, well, I didn't put forth my true self and stuff. And that's kind of the way that I feel sometimes. But I'd rather feel like I'm a phony than hurt someone's feelings or offend what they believe or what they think. So
Yeah. You know, life's crazy that way because there are times when we do need to say something, and there's times we just need to keep our mouth shut.
Right.
And knowing the difference is wisdom.
yeah.
I haven't arrived yet.
Yeah. You're not there,
I
is that
think
what
a lot
you
of
said?
us haven't.
Not yet, no. I talked to my dad the other day.
You have a few more years.
Okay, I
Yeah,
hope
you
so.
get-
I
you
don't know. And he was worried about some prophecy, something or another that he had seen. I won't go into details about that.
Come
but-
on, that'd be cute. Come
Well,
on, give it to
he
us.
said that the pale horse in Revelation is actually a green horse.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's true.
Oh, it is.
That is true. That's true.
Rhonda's seen it. No, I don't know. He said it was green and that represented the Muslims. And I said, oh,
I don't know about that.
okay.
Oh,
I didn't know
Lord.
it was green. Maybe I don't know. But he was all worried about that and some other issues. And I told Rick, I said, I want to tell him not to worry, but he wouldn't believe me. And then he'd still be worried about that, and he'd be worried about me because I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you know.
But-
It's hard to know when to say something and when to
Right.
not,
That's
because,
true.
you know, I don't want to cut my relationship off with him, but at the same time, it hurts me to see him, you know, like his car broke down and he was asking me, he said, well, he was telling me that he asked God what he did wrong, that his car broke down.
Oh,
And I said, well,
that's sad.
Dad, you went off the road and hit the curb and popped 2 tires. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
anything you did other than you lost control of the car. It's
Yeah.
not. And then he was,
He didn't buy
I don't
that.
know, he didn't seem to, but, you know, it's not
Yeah.
God's fault, and it's not that he did anything bad, it's just bad luck. But
Well,
Yeah.
but see, that's what we're taught to believe, you know, through religion, is that, you know, when bad things happen to us, it's because we've sinned, or, you know,
right,
that, you know, when we're ill, when we're sick, when we get a disease or something, it's because of sin in our life. And now it very well could be, if you're smoking, you know, some people consider that to be a sinful thing, but if you smoke, you might have the consequences of lung cancer. But then again, there's people that get lung cancer that don't smoke.
Like
So
Papa.
it doesn't, you know, that doesn't quite equal up. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I mean, there are consequences for your actions, but it doesn't reason out that it's God causing
Punishing
someone to
you
get
for-
cancer
right.
because they smoked, or, you know, you drank so your liver starts failing. I mean,
That's
there's
just the way
natural
Bobby was
consequences for
designed.
things we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then some people suffer, like Papa, who never smoked a day in his life, and really wasn't around a whole lot of people that smoked, except for maybe when he was in the military, and back then it was more commonplace for just more people to smoke. They weren't as health conscious and
Yeah.
didn't know all the dangers of it. And so, I don't know, it just doesn't
I'm kind
equal
of,
up.
no, it doesn't. But I'm sort of like Ruthie too. If you can't be your true self, I'm like, I see Kaylee and Ruthie, and because if you say something and you think, well, they're gonna disenfranchise me and kick me out of the family or whatever, and you don't say it, then they're in a relationship with a fake person. They're not
Right.
you're not in a relationship that you can be who they are. So if they like you, they don't even like the real person. It's
Well,
just
that's true.
facade.
Right.
But then you've got to say, especially if it's your father or mother, you got to say, that relationship will always be there, hopefully. So I don't want to make them worry about me, like you didn't want him to worry about your beliefs, possibly, or that you're not worried about the zombie infusion or whatever.
I would be
No,
more
the
worried about the
invasion.
zombies than the green horse. But
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of horses anyway, so that's why I don't believe in it.
okay. I didn't know it was green. I don't know how they
Yeah.
figured that out.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it is. Okay, now this is a subject that we're talking about now, being politically correct or offending, or two things. One, I think J.C. Penney had a shirt and it said, I'm too pretty to have to do my homework, so my brother does it for me." And so people were up in arms about that. What do y'all say? Ruthie, what do you think? I mean, people are just, if they want to gripe about something, they're going to find something to gripe about.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, you can look at it two ways. The person wearing it is arrogant, or they think too much of themselves, and they don't think much of their brother, or they think they're not very smart and their brother's smarter than they are. So you can look at it a lot of different ways if you just sit and analyze that for a long time. So I think it's just words printed and
Right,
Yeah.
I think it's just meant
And,
as
you
like a
know,
joke. I mean, my
yeah.
son had a joke that said, "I'll sell my sister for a tractor."
Right.
Well, for one, he's not that into tractors. For two, he's not going to sell his sister. He'd have to run that by mom, and dad. But, it was just meant as a joke, but somebody could read into it and be like, oh,
right.
He also had him handsome and, or something on his shirt, and, he's 4 or 5. He doesn't, So, anyways, what were you going to say, Grandma?
I was going to say, you're going to bring my next point up. Are we putting things on our kids' shirts that they don't have a clue what it means, but we're letting them wear what we want them to wear to be funny? You're like, you don't know, he's not into tractors, but he's wearing a tractor shirt. And
Well, I mean, he
it's like-
did like tractors, but it's not like he was over the top gaga and, I'd really sell my sister for a
Right,
tractor.
but you bought the shirt thinking it was cute.
No, I think somebody else bought it, but
Oh,
yeah,
well,
it
but what
was
I mean-
cute. I let him wear it,
Yeah.
Hope
I
it
saw
wasn't
a
you.
onesie that had an elephant on it, and it said, "I'm told I'm an Alabama fan," because it was a onesie. That was cute.
Oh,
That's not cute.
That is cute.
That is not cute.
Well, at least they
I
weren't
think it's
saying
cute.
that the child
well,
said
see,
he
she
was an Alabama fan.
agrees. He
There
is
was
an
no-
Alabama fan, and
You
It's
know,
not
it didn't,
cute
it
that he
didn't say
thinks
I'm
he's
an
cool.
Alabama fan when it's an infant. I thought it was cute. 'cause
Yeah, I
he
thought it
said
was too.
I was told that I was an Alabama fan.
Well, it is. It's cute, but I saw one too, and it says, "I was told I was a Braves fan." Now that's cute. Alabama,
Okay.
if you're Alabama fan, first of all, it's embarrassing that the child would have that on them, because it's just
I hear a
embarrassing.
little bitterness because Florida
Why?
has been losing
Why? I
Alabama
like-
lately. What about y'all?
I like the state of Alabama. I think it's a nice state.
I know they're talking about the football team review.
Yeah, with the,
I don't watch football.
28 day, 27 now.
See,
Sorry.
everything is in context.
That's right.
Right, and what you think about it. Now that brings me to my other thing. This woman, there's this thing called Mommy Confessions, and you ought to hear some of these confessions.
Oh, no.
Oh, my Lord.
I wish I could have it, see it, find it. But this lady, the latest confession was this. She has a shirt, and it says, "Daddy's Little Squirt." What do y'all think
I've heard that, but I wouldn't wear it on a shirt.
Oh, well, okay. I appreciate you wouldn't wear it, but what about your child? I really am glad.
I thought you were saying it was like on a shirt for a pregnancy shirt, and it was like on the belly. Never mind.
No, it's little kids.
Okay, well, you said it was a mommy confession, and there was a shirt.
She lets her child wear
But
this
you didn't
shirt.
specify that, okay?
No,
I was
right.
filling the blanks with the belly. And, you know, Mama has a baby belly, and you know, you've seen
Oh,
a
that's
baby on
cute.
board,
Yeah,
my
that's
daddy's
cute.
little squirt.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cute.
okay.
That's cute.
Anyways.
Ruthie, what do you think about all this trash?
Squirt is a drip of water, so.
It is?
Yep, or a
Or-
drink. They used to
What
have
else- what else is it?
a drink that was a squirt.
Yeah.
So
I
it
remember
depends
that.
on what century you come from.
What else could it be, Ruthie? Anything come to mind? But Ruthie, this woman was confessing, letting her baby wear this, knowing it was
It
kind of.
could be
Could be taken wrong,
misinterpreted.
correct.
I think it did have some graphics with it, and it was like a squirt.
Okay.
It was a squirt, but it was brown. That was weird. Could have been. I don't know.
I don't think we should explore that too deeply.
I think we'll stop right
Yeah, let's
there.
go to something
Okay,
else.
something else. Okay, our point is letting your child wear something like that. The kid doesn't. You know, you're using your child. You're not abusing. That's too far. But you're using your child for your own perverse sense of humor. You know.
All right, I'm gonna leave now.
So.
The moral of the story is, grandparents, be careful what you buy for your grandchildren.
That's true. That's true. I saw another onesie and it had "Mommy just wanted a back rub." It was on the
I
ones.
saw,
You saw that one? Mama just wanted a back rub. Oh, no, it was all Mama wanted was a back rub. I decided I wouldn't get
I
that.
saw that one.
But these people are putting these on these little kids, and is it fair or not fair? I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair.
Oh, I'm
I
feeling really
don't-
bad.
I
I mean,
don't
I
think it's
had a shirt that said,
unfair.
"Hello, my name is Trouble." You know.
I don't know. That's my personal opinion. We're projecting, something up. That's okay. I don't. So Ruthie, help me.
All right, moving
Well,
on.
I don't think anyone should buy a shirt that they think what's on it might offend someone. That's just my opinion, for your child or for your spouse.
Yeah.
You just don't put something
I don't
on
think that we can
someone.
get our new covenant group shirts made, because somebody's going to be really pissed off that we're going to have atheists and theists together, and atheist is first on the shirt. So
That is true.
I don't know. We have to second guess getting those made.
But I want one of those shirts.
All right,
I do
me
too.
too.
You're just a little troublemaker. I was
but
looking for
that's-
it. Where's
Quite a
that?
conundrum here.
one of those BGs.
That can't be taken in a,
Oh yeah, there are people out there who can take it any which way they
no,
want. Trust me.
I mean, like the one with the daddy's little squirt. Someone can look at that and go in a completely different direction.
Right.
But atheists and theists, you're not going to go in that direction. It's going to strictly be religious that's going to be offended. That's what
There's
I'm
no
saying
double
about that.
meaning
So,
to the
yes.
shirt.
That is true. Thank you so very much.
Good catch.
Good thing I was a world famous softball player.
Baton twirler with
Baton
fire.
twirler, fire breather,
No fire.
whatever.
Fire baton.
Fire baton. These are our T-shirts.
Text us if you would be offended. Or text us if you
I'm
want one,
offended
so
that
we'll
I
know.
don't have one
How
yet.
many
Yeah,
we
I
need.
don't. I
Text
can't
us
see.
if you want one.
Well-
Ruth and me.
Yes, I said I'd like to have one. so-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
we're working on getting the best price and the best quality and getting them together, so.
That
stay
is
tuned.
true.
Let
Yeah.
us know if you want one. Let us know if you'd be offended by it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bob.
And we'll pray for you.
What about the shirt? What is it called? Playground Pimp. That was another one. What, Ruthie? You wouldn't like that one on your little great-great-grandchild?
Mm-mm.
Playing on the playground? Mm-mm.
Nope.
Me neither. That'd be
Gavin
horrible.
had Chick Magnet, and I didn't buy it for him. My sister did.
Jeez. This is really an intervention. That's why I brought this up about you and your children's shirts.
I figured that. That's why we're moving on.
Wow. But, and another point was this, are we just really too politically correct? We ask this a lot, but, you know, people just get so upset. You know, I say don't buy the shirt. Don't let your child, your little darling, wear the shirt. Don't get the shirt. Leave it at JCPenney.
Right.
But then you can say, well, what if the kid goes to first grade and she has the shirt on and your daughter is reading it and thinking, well, am I supposed to not like math or be good in math? And, you know, whatever. But they're going to read a lot of things in their life. They need to start. First grade's not too early. Figure it out. Check. You're supposed to be good at math. You need to be good at math. Pretty or not pretty. Okay, we've gone too far in this country. We've gone too far. Speaking of going too far, the Reverend Jesse Jackson has been to Tallahassee, up in the Capitol building, occupying it with some people who are upset about the ruling, the Trayvon Martin ruling, which I can understand being upset. Absolutely. But when you call our governor the likes of George Wallace and saying, you know, he's that type of person and this is the new Selma and people in Florida are this way. We're not that way. Our governor is not that type of a person. I mean, this has nothing to do with our governor. People in Florida, it's a law. It was a jury. A lot of sad things went on.
And I felt the same way. I mean, it's a horrendous thing that there's not justice for this child dying, but there's nothing that's going to bring him back, and none of us were there, so we don't know exactly what happened. Is there a need to review the stand your ground law? Is there a need to call for action to try to protect and prevent racial profiling if that's what it was? Yes. But making comments that are just so inflammatory,
Right.
that becomes a problem. That's like causing division. That's not trying to bring anybody together on an issue. And that's my problem with it is going there and joining in with these people who want and are trying. What they're trying to do is get 32 of the legislative body to sign and do like a repeal or something where they can I forgot what it was called. I had it pulled up and I don't have it anymore, but basically trying to get them to go into the stand your ground law and to relook at it. And so that's a good thing. And in joining there peacefully and occupying this building until these people come back in session and trying to do this, that's a good thing. And that's unifying people. That's not dividing people.
Right.
But making comments that are just out there. But he's famous for kind of getting up and just like we have people all over the South and other places that are ministers getting up, oh, Y2K this, and this is the judgment of God on Louisiana for, the sin of New Orleans. I mean, you just always got somebody making these statements that are just inflammatory and crazy.
Well, here are some of the things that he was saying in case you don't know the story, but being from the state of Florida, or being in the state of Florida, we kind of know what's going on. It says, while visiting the state capitol Tuesday, Jackson talked about efforts to repeal the law and used the phrase Selma of our time, a reference to the civil rights marches in Alabama. For one thing, this wasn't a race thing whatsoever, and to bring the race up in it is unconscionable and irresponsible, in my opinion. He also said in a July 18th exchange on CNN that he talked about an economic boycott to isolate Florida as kind of an apartheid state, given this whole stand your ground laws. Well, first of all, we're not the only state that has stand your ground. I think 21 states have it on their books. And why would you want the people of Florida to suffer economically and treat us like, to segregate us out because of this law? It's unbelievable. But our governor denounced the comments. He demanded an apology. And he says that the leaders, the civil rights leaders' words insult Floridians, and it divides our state at a time when we were striving for unity and healing. Now, Mike Hill is from Pensacola, and he is the only African-American GOP lawmaker, and he called Jackson's words a disgrace, and I'm glad
Thank you.
they did. I was very proud of that. He also said let's see, well, Jackson was talking about Governor George Wallace, who was a real tool for what he did back in '63, in my opinion, too. Blah, 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 blah. But Hill says this, Mike Hill, the African-American GOP lawmaker that was just elected this year from Pensacola, says, when Jackson uses language that describes us an apartheid state and compares our governor to one of history's most notorious bigots, he is either hopelessly out of touch or purposefully dishonest. And I believe that too. Absolutely. But another thing is this, you know, we had a 17-year-old shot and killed at probably 3 or 4 miles from here just this week. I wonder, you know, where is Jesse Jackson? If what's his problem? Is it 17-year-olds who were shot and killed? Or what? I thought he might show up and try to stand for the 17-year-old and his rights, the one that was just killed here recently in Pensacola. I mean, a black child shot, I believe, by another black person, I believe.
Well, and I think, and this is my 2 cents, my 2 coppers, that it has more to do with the fact that they're wanting to claim the Trayvon Martin thing was racial profiling. Now, whether it is or isn't, like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know. When you see somebody acting suspicious and you're part of a neighborhood watch or just a concerned citizen and you're looking to get involved, I think it's one of those areas to where we've gone so much to looking for something to be wrong. I mean, it could have been a black guy seeing another black guy doing something and interacting, and you probably wouldn't have this whole up in arms. I mean, a 17-year-old died, that should bother us. A 17-year-old died here.
Right.
Regardless of whether it was a black person who shot a black person, or a Hispanic who shot a black person, or a Hispanic who shot a white, black who shot a white, whatever. It's tragic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like I said, we weren't there. We cannot know 100% what happened.
Right.
And we can't know what was in this gentleman's mind. We can't know what was in the kid that got killed's mind. But it really seems like, you know, because there's 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds and 15, 13-year-olds that are shot people all the time.
Right.
It's more about an issue to keep the flares up on the race issue.
That's
And
what I think too.
racism does still exist, but it goes, I think, 2 directions.
It does. Sure. You know, honestly, we may be upset with Paula Dean, but I think she really got it right when she said, you know, we're all prejudiced. And I wonder, and I was talking to my husband this week, is being prejudiced and being a racist, are those the one and the same? I don't think so either.
No, we are prejudiced against someone who believes about a different God than we do. We are prejudiced against someone that believes drinking is wrong, and if you drink, then you're wrong. We are prejudiced against people who watch TV instead of reading. We're prejudiced against people who read instead of watching TV. You name it, and we can find something to be prejudiced about if we try. What we should do is to try to keep peace, spread love. That's you know
Right.
that'll get rid of all of this stuff.
Right.
Jesse Jackson wouldn't have anything to complain about if he was using love as his standard.
You know, I remember something that Papa used to say, and it's that Sunday was the most segregated day of the week. And, you know, Dr. Jones has made that comment too. And it is, and it's not just with race, it's with different beliefs. And, you know, I mentioned with the kids before that if we started dividing each other up by hair, just physical appearances alone, eventually we'd all be in a spot by ourselves, let alone if you went into what you believe about every little thing. So, you know, that's a sad state to be in, all by yourself all the time. You
That's
know,
true.
we need to find a way to come together and appreciate the differences in each other and get past, you know, I mean, kids they're not born seeing the color of anybody's skin. And I don't think you shared it. Will you share what Jetta, the first time, will you share that? Because I think that's a good point.
He, when Jetta was little, his idea, if he told you someone was a black man, it was a man wearing a black shirt. If, you know, which was really funny, because Uncle Michael and John Michael would watch, like, boxing, and it would be a black guy in white trunks and a white guy in black trunks, and Jetta would say, you know, the black guy and the white guy, but it would be, he was going by
Opposite,
trunk
yeah.
color. And we thought it was cute, but he never, it didn't mean anything to him. Skin color was, hair color, eye color didn't mean a thing to him until he was about 4 years old, and I took him to the park. And there was a little black boy on a swing. And Jetta went up to him and said, "Hey, can I play with you?" And the little boy said, "I don't play with white boys," and walked off. And Jetta looked at me stunned, and he's like, "Mom, I'm not wearing white. I don't understand." You know, and I had to...
But neither one of those kids were born with
No,
that prejudice.
he
They were
never, so
taught it,
I had to
you
sit
know?
there and explain to him that that child wouldn't play with him because of his skin color. And that made no sense to him. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But like Monica said,
And Gavin used to
someone
do that
told
too.
that little boy that he couldn't play with white children.
Gavin used to do that too. He used to, it'd be the color of your shirt or the color of your hair or different things like that. And, you know, I shared about Savannah thinking that it was Jesus
that
and the
was
hair color
great.
song instead of Jesus and skin color song, you know.
Right.
Jesus loves the little children of the world, red and yellow, black and white. It's a hair color song.
I
Yeah,
thought that
that's
was
awesome.
So, you know, kids are not born prejudiced. They
yeah,
see
we put
people.
that on them. Yeah.
It's as they start going to school, in their homes, the people they're around that they associate with, where they start learning to see people other than just human beings. They start seeing differences in color of skin, knowing that other people see differences in the color of the skin, and start, you know, having these issues of being prejudiced, you know. And I think the sooner we can teach them that that's not anything to worry about, not anything to look at differently, the better off we are. And not just about the color of skin, you know, or, you know, just across the board, what they believe in. That's why I'm so gung-ho with, you know, being a part of the New Covenant group, is because it's trying to be inclusive of just, we're all human beings, we're all on this planet, we're all here to learn and grow, and let's come together, let's discuss, let's move forward, let's help other people, let's live, you know?
Yeah, I can remember when my sister and I were like 3 and 4 years old, and we lived in the South, but there was a little boy on the corner, and when we saw him in his swing, we left our porch and ran down there to swing with him, and he was just the kid next door. But when I got to be older, I realized as an adult that he was the little black boy on the corner.
Right.
You know, but when he was just a kid next door, the only kid on the block, and we played with him. He didn't look any different than we did, you know, and like she said, you have to teach people to be prejudiced, so.
Yeah, that's right. Whenever you can describe somebody without, you know, if you go down there and you know, it's the you know, the black man, well, you just shouldn't have to say that sometimes. He's a man. Now, I'm against going too far with that, because sometimes in our news journal they'll say, well, the Family Dollar was robbed yesterday. The suspect was 6 feet tall and 150 pounds. And, okay, I need to know.
Yeah, hair color, eye color, skin color.
Right,
That's
and if
not
they want
asking
you
too
to
much.
look out for somebody and be able to inform them, that's when
Right, yeah,
it's an appropriate time to say, hey,
I think so.
you know, they were Hispanic, or they were black, or
White,
they were
or-
white. And that's not to profile anybody. That's just, I mean,
That's
if
a
you're wanting
description of
somebody
a
to be
felon.
looked out for someone who's robbed you or murdered somebody,
Yeah,
you know, those descriptions are kind of necessary.
Very important.
That's
So,
when it's necessary.
you know, we
you know?
fail when it's important, and then
Well, it's because of
We swing
everybody
too
being
far.
so, you know,
Jumpy about
jumpy and looking for something to jump on. You know, if you say it was a black male that robbed the Dollar General, then, oh, you know, you're profiling. And that's the thing is people can go too far with it. And I think in a lot of ways we have. And so then you have the News Journal who says, oh, well, we can't print that. We can't say, you know, because it might, and
That's
there
ridiculous.
are
Use your
times
head.
it's necessary, but not just to be, you know, just not necessary for everything, but it is necessary in certain instances.
I was going to say, I do believe the stand your law ground should be reviewed again to see if there are some major flaws in it, or maybe to narrow it
Better
down.
define it.
Yeah, better define it. But I will say this, I was on a jury trial, and stand your law ground was used, and anytime something like that's considered, they have to tell the jury that we're going to, utilize this provision of stand your law ground, and this person's using it as their defense. So what it was a guy was at a manager at Radio Shack, and he was a white guy, and a black woman came in, and I forget the whole story, but a ruckus fell out. I don't remember a lot of the details. I don't know why, but I do know it appeared to me on the video, and we got to watch the surveillance video and stuff, and I couldn't really do a lot of hearing, but it looked like, just from the video, she was showing out a little bit and had a little attitude. That's just what I gathered from the evidence and the video and testimonies and stuff. Well, he claimed that he was standing his ground because he felt threatened, and so he sort of subdued her in a way, and they went across shelves and fell over and against the wall, and he tried to get her. Then, of course, when you do that to a woman, any woman, much less a black woman or even a white woman, if you try that with me, I'm going to scratch everything you got. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
don't try it with me. So that's what she did. That's what I figured. She was on again.
Well, my thought is dude, pick up the phone. Tell her, I'm calling the authorities. Pick up your phone. Then if she jumps and attacks you, then you're standing your ground.
Yeah,
but to go and
right.
put your arms around the woman physically, unless she's jumping and attacking you or hurting another patron, use your telephone. Escambia's finest, or
Escambia.
Santa Rosa's finest will come, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
use some sense. To me, that was a little bit premature.
Well, deep in the recesses of my mind, it seems like that was being done in the middle of it, and then she went off.
Yeah, but still, I mean.
Well, I mean, she started acting out while he was getting ready to call. While he was trying to call for help. I believe that's how it went. Now you said that, and then it reminded me. I think that's how it went. I'm not sure. And there I was on the jury, but I really was into it then. But needless to say, then at the whole end of it, you hear everything, and then I was the alternate. So then I got to go home before the deliberation because nobody else passed out or whatever. So they picked one person to go home, and so it was me. So I never knew what happened until in the newspaper. Well, come to find out, even though he used stand your law ground, they didn't accept it for that. They charged him with battery and everything else on the person coming in the store, showing out, acting out, and whatever. I was surprised because I thought he was within his right as a person that felt very threatened and piled up on, that he should be able to restrain her or whatever from further, whatever. That's how I felt at the time. So what I'm trying to say is to Jesse Jackson, sometimes it does work for people. This black woman didn't get a battery on her because, the stand the law ground didn't work for this man. That's what I'm trying to say. She got to leave. He got to go to jail, so. And I thought it should have been backwards. I thought she was the aggressor. But stand the law didn't work for him.
Well, had she put her hands on him at all until he put his hands on her?
She was all up in his face, this body, but she didn't
Yeah.
punch him or anything. But
Yeah,
and then he was
that's
I think he was getting his cell phone off of his hip or his store phone, I think it was, and then it just disintegrated, and that's how things happen. It just
Be hard to
disintegrates.
know without seeing it, but
Right.
like I said,
But I thought she should have gotten in trouble.
if
to
he
me.
could have backed away and moved himself out of the thing or jumped the counter and called or whatever and got out of her way, I think that would have been smarter than to physically try to restrain her, because unless she was doing harm to another patron or
Yeah.
or literally had thrown a punch at him or thrown something at him. I think that to try and resist the altercation versus, I mean, he had to know that if he put his arms around her, tried to restrain
was
her,
gonna
she
get
wasn't
worse.
just going to sit there and
No,
take it. Her
right.
actions hadn't spoke anything any different so far. So, like I said, without seeing the video, but I would say that, you know, that wasn't necessarily the stand your ground, because he wasn't in physical danger.
Well, that's another thing. It's hard to tell. It's hard to
Right.
know. He could have thought he was an actual physical harm, and
Yeah,
He-
and he could have. And like I
so
said, I didn't see
that's
and
a-
I didn't hear all the evidence.
yeah,
So.
maybe that's part of the whole law. Is it's just too subjective, because you've got to say, you know, if I get in Kaylee's face or she gets at mine, I may not feel threatened at all because I know she wouldn't hurt me and I wouldn't hurt her. But, you know, if somebody came in here that I didn't know and she wanted to get in my face, I might really think any minute now I might get punched, so I'm going to get myself ready. You know what I'm saying? And so I wouldn't want to, but that's standing your ground.
Right.
But, you know, sometimes better is take the punch and then. But if you think you're going to be killed, or you just, I don't know. It's
Hard to
subjective.
say,
You
yeah.
just got to use your own thoughts and feelings, and you go back and use your experiences and everything. That's
It does seem
subjective.
like the
really.
law needs to be reviewed and maybe fine-tuned or something if it's that vague that
Yeah,
use it here, can't use it here, who knows, and
that's true.
definitely
And I
needs to be
haven't read all the
revisited.
law, so I don't know all the different parts of it. But
There's a website.
my minute understanding of it, what I thought anyways, was that it, like, if someone was coming into your property, like your home or a business you owned, and was either doing physical harm to you or was going, you know, had the intent to do physical harm,
That's
you
the
could
thing. Intent.
you could, you know, yeah, I mean, and there's always that question of
I
intent.
know.
But like if someone's breaking in my home and I pull out my gun or I smack them with a frying pan, which is what I always said I would do, my cast iron skillet, knock them over the head with it, I'd be within my rights. But
It's-
that was why I didn't understand, and I didn't read up on it,
Yeah.
about the Trayvon Martin
Yeah,
thing.
it's not
because
just at your
he
house. It's wherever
followed.
you are.
So,
It's
well,
wherever I
and
go.
see, I didn't understand that.
Yeah. So, like this man, he wasn't the owner of the Radio Shack. He was just the manager. But he was allowed to, or he said, they claimed that he could within that law. And they read it to us a million times, and it still circled my head a million times. But maybe that's why they kicked me off. They saw that dumb look in my eye. I was like, this doesn't make sense. But anywho, but he was, they said, within his right to stand his ground there, because he was supposed to be there. That was one of the caveats. You're supposed to be there. You have every right to be there. And he did. He was working, and what happened, So, but he got in trouble. Anywho, that's all of our time. We get wrapped up in that. But I do suggest that if you're still confused about, and I'm sure we didn't clean anything up for you on Stand Your Ground Law, they have a website. It's I think it's FloridaStandYourGroundLaw.org or com. But look it up on the internet and read about it and find out. Maybe you can have something in your mind that could help a lawmaker, or you could give a suggestion, or if you're smart enough, or a lawyer, or know one, let's work together on this and clean it up and let it be something that maybe can work, because I do believe that you should be able to stand your ground and protect yourself. If that's the way you choose to live, I believe you should have that right. So look it up, and next week we'll have maybe some more details about it and try to figure out. I'll try to see if I can get that videotape of the trial that I was on. Maybe so. That'd be interesting, and let everybody just see it at face value and see what you think. All right. Well, we're glad Ruthie is back in the house. And what's today? The 4th? Okay, you'll still be at 39 next week.
4th.
Okay. All right. That's it for Reflections. We'll see you next week. Oh, I want to put my cool sunglasses on, but it's too late.
Wileen says.